You cannot sit here and tell me that y'all was partying for 7 days. On the 7th day, he was high off of spirits from wine. Dudes, you drinking for 7 days. You're drunk. It was juicy. Like, this one was a juicy story in the Bible. What's up, y'all? I'm back. I'm better than ever. Look at my outfit. It's so cute. That ain't got nothing to do with this video. Okay, y'all. So today we gonna talk about Esther. Okay, come through, Esther. I'm here. I was about to say I'm a girl's girl. I am a girl's girl, but I'm not a girl's girl. I'm a girl's girl to my girls, if that makes sense. To the girl across the street, it depends. If she been about to walk and I see a bus coming, watch out! But if she over there fighting with her man, they got nothing to do with me. Okay, I'm eating Brussels sprouts. Y'all don't mind me. I am in the book of Esther. I read Esther. I'm rereading Esther as we speak because Esther was so quick. It's only 10 chapters. And I'm rereading her. And I am on 6. But I think it was only 10 chapters. She was so easy. But let me tell you about Esther. Because I like her. But you know who I really mess with? It's Queen Vashti. And if I'm not saying these names correctly, excuse me, maybe I should go look them up to make sure I'm pronouncing them right. Because I can't read. Y'all okay, that's what you okay, look. The one thing y'all gotta know about me, I can't read. Okay, so I'm here, I'm reading this young woman's Bible. If you not have seen my chapter, if you have not seen my video on Job, go back and read that. Job was amazing. Job was definitely a life lesson for me. I had a come to Jesus moment with Job, and Job was deep in genuine and purifying moment reading Job. Okay. So go read Job. Job was the chapter about God teaching people that his punishment, his sacrifice is not punishment. Okay? His sacrifice is not punishment. And if you feel very lost, go read Job. Okay? I'm gonna send you that way. But Esther, baby, she's our queen. Okay? Queen Vashti. I mess with her. So we're here. Chapter of Esther. So let's go back to the beginning. If y'all know, I'm reading this Young Woman of Faith Bible because it just helps me understand it way better in easy terms. My goal is to read this front to back to front. I want to read this twice. I want to read it in the order which I am naturally seeking. And when I say that, just me experiencing life in different chapters in church and things that are coming to me. I'm just reading. I have an order set, but I'm allowing life to direct my order. After I do that, I'm going to order it in the way that I think it should be read, and I'm going to read it again, and then I'm going to go read the New King James Version and read that a couple of times, and then probably come back here. I don't know, but we're here. We're in our Bibles, girls, and we're here to stay. Okay, so Esther reveals why God takes care of his people. The book says that Esther is a Jewish girl. She becomes queen of Pezra. I think that's the area called. An evil man named Haman plots to kill the Jews, y'all. So God basically saves the Jews. This is a chapter about like the kings and queens or whatever. God is not mentioned a lot in this chapter, but it shows that God is always watching, and if you do right by God, he gonna always bless you. He gonna have your back. I feel like God teaches you that, you know, like people always feel like God is a miracle worker. He's not. You know, he will use people, places, things to do his work. And that's what I think the chapter of Esther is about. So in the beginning of Esther, the first chapter talks about, oh my God, my Bible, talks about Queen Vashti. So in the beginning of the book, Queen Vashti was the queen of the king. And the first chapter talks about how they both was partying. The king was with his boys for like 7 days, 10 days. I would have to go back and read it. And then Queen Vashti was with her girls and they was partying. The king told his homeboys, whoever they called them people, nobles. Okay, I was trying to find what they called them in the Bible, his servants, but I'm gonna just talk normal terms. The king was like, told his workers, his servants, his homeboys, go get my queen. I want to display her. This is after he had been partying. If you go into 1 and 10, on the 7th day, King Esther was high in spirits from wine. He commands his 7, I don't know how to say this word. I don't know how to read. EUNUCHS. Basically, his servants, homeboys. It says 7 blank who served him, they named all those guys, to bring forth him Queen Vashti, wearing her royal crown in order to display her beauty to the people and nobles, for she was very lovely to look at. I feel like I'm Queen Vashti. Okay, I really wish she was spoke more of in the Bible. I want to know what she was like, what she did, just more about her. Because, first of all, the king was drunk. You cannot sit here and tell me that y'all was partying for 7 days. On the 7th day, he was high off of spirits from wine. Dudes, you drinking for 7 days. You're drunk. And then you go tell your homeboys to go get your woman to display her. I wish my husband or my man will. Yes, my husband. I ain't got a husband, but I'm in a husband, okay? I wish my man would be like, oh, babe, come put on your crown and come stand up here and look cute. I'm not doing that. I feel like that's very uncomfortable. You know, and Queen Vashti, I don't know what she was thinking. I don't know how she was feeling. I don't know why she walked away. But she basically was like, no, I'm not doing that. The king got pissed. He got pissed and was like, oh, you gotta go. You gotta go. It's time to go. I gotta find me a new woman. You know, most men do. Okay, bye. You know, it's all right, bye. So they basically went and found, that's when they went and found Queen Esther. But I'm stuck on Queen Vashti. I really want to know more about her because in a sense, I'm her. You know, I am so quick to leave a dude. That's why I got two baby daddies and I'm single. I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it. And she was not either. She was not having it. But I really wish the Bible spoke more about her in other parts just so, because I'm just very intrigued by her. So yes, that was her. But I also felt like she was being true to herself. She was being genuine to herself. And she stood on what she believed in as a woman. So I just feel like even though she wasn't spoke about a lot and only in this 1-2 chapters, as a woman, have your morals, your faith, stand on what you believe in. And it was meant for her to walk away out of that situation. It was meant for her to stand on her word and say, no, I'm not doing this. And because of this, the king was like, oh no, you gotta go. God uses his people. It was time for her to dip. I don't know why it was time for her to dip, but it was time for her to go, and God said you gotta go, so she ended up being removed, you know, just genuinely trusting God and things of that nature. If you ever felt like something bad is happening to you, for example, I'm gonna just throw this out there, like you was working or whatever and you ended up getting laid off. Don't look at it as a negative, look at it as a positive, and look at it for what God is potentially telling you in that scenario situation. Because of her, she was able to move out the way, and they were able to bring in Queen Esther, who was able to provide a platform for her people and save the Jews. So I just wanted to say that Queen Esther later on basically, Haman is a guy in the Bible named Haman. Haman adopted Queen Esther. Queen Esther lost both of her parents, and so basically Haman adopted her. And when the king was in seek of finding his new wife, he basically went out and was looking for a whole bunch of virgin women. Queen Esther was one of them. And it talks about in here, they went 6 months of like full blown beauty treatments. And I want to pause because I was watching a podcast recently, and they were talking about how the Bible, especially in the New Old Testament, how they talk about women should not wear weave and makeup and this, and that, and it's frowned upon, and how that person felt about it. First of all, Queen Esther and her girls who were seeking to become a queen went 6 months, almost to a year. I need to go back and read it. 6 months full of just spa-like treatments, cosmetics, perfumes. Like, they would try on different things and do all these beauty treatments, go around the king, don't go around the king. And the king would just basically feel their energy to see, like, oh, I really like her type stuff. Like, honestly, that wasn't godly like either, and they did it. Cosmetics to me, you know, so I really wish I could find that podcast I was watching, because I'm like, that's not what they were doing right here, but okay. So Haman basically Queen Esther came about. She got chosen from the king. She moved into the house. She is just giving queen energy. We love it. Okay, I'm messing up bad. Okay. Haman is not her cousin. Haman is the guy that the king put into honor. Sometimes the king have these rings, and he will ordain certain people to be like, okay, you have say so, you have power in order to like do certain things without necessarily coming to me first. That's who Haman was. Mordecai was Queen Esther's cousin. Mordecai is the one who adopted Queen Esther. I'm sorry, I got those confused. So Mordecai was hanging around the palace, and they were in. Haman was asking the people around the palace to kneel down, giving honor and salute to King Xerxes, but Haman wouldn't do it. Why do I keep getting them confused? Mordecai wouldn't do it. Oh my God, I hope you guys are following me, okay? Mordecai is Queen Esther's cousin. He's a Jew. Haman is the king homeboy, okay? It says, 3, verse 3. Then the royal officials at the king's gate asked Mordecai, why do you disobey the king's command? The king was asking them to kneel down, and Mordecai wouldn't do it. They said, why do you disobey the king's commandment? Day after day they spoke to him, but he refused to comply. Therefore they told Haman about it to see whether Mordecai's behavior was tolerated, for he had told them he was a Jew. When Haman saw that Mordecai would not kneel down or pay him honor, he was enraged. He was pissed. But this right here, I just wanted to speak on. I feel like Mordecai, he's a Jew, and the Bible speaks about like not honoring somebody other than God. And I felt like Mordecai was being true to himself. He was being true to God and how he honors God. So he was basically saying he can't do that because he was a Jew. Haman basically got pissed. He put out a hit on all the Jews to kill them. Of course, the Bible goes in a little bit more in depth. Like, he tried to kill just Mordecai at first, and then he put out a hit on everybody else or whatever. And so then it goes into Mordecai. He gets upset. He goes into a state of, what did it say? It said, chapter 4, the beginning of it, he said he tore up all his clothes. He put on sackcloth and ashes and went out in the city, wailing loudly and bitterly. But he only went as far as the king's gates because he wasn't dressed properly to go into the courtyard. But basically, when he did this, one of the, I think, nobles went back to Queen Esther and basically was like, you know, your cousin's outside acting a fool. And she was just kind of like, well, why? What's going on? Go get the information. Go get the tea. So the nobles went back out. And these are the people who were reporting to Queen Esther, by the way. So they went back out and talked to Mordecai. And basically, Mordecai gave the information back to the servants for Queen Esther. And Queen Esther found out about Haman's plot to kill all of the Jews. And so basically Mordecai was asking Esther, like, can you do something to save us? Can you help us? Can you go talk to the king? Going to talk to the king was not something that you traditionally would do, because you could get killed for doing it. So Esther went in and told them, I need y'all to fast. Only water for 3 days. It talks about, what is this? Chapter 4:15. Go gather all of the Jews who are in Susa, which is the area, and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day, and I and my maids will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. If I perish, I perish. So she's saying, I will sacrifice myself for y'all, but I need you to do this for me. I need you guys to fast with me, and fast, and then she will go to the king, and then she will put her life on the line. But it all worked out because eventually Queen Esther basically asked the king if she can talk to him and Haman. And basically she asked him, like, hey, this is what's going on. And that's not okay. But also, it was a situation that happened in chapter 6 with Mordecai. So basically, one particular day, and this is an example of how God uses people, Mordecai reported some information back to the king that two of the king officials who guard the doorway had conspiracies about assassinating the king. This information was then reported back to the king from Mordecai. And it talks about it in the 6th chapter of Esther. And basically, the king started to talk about, like, what are we going to do for this guy who reported this information back? We need to honor him or whatever. And Haman became furious because at this point, Haman knew he was a Jew. Haman was trying to kill all the Jews. And in this part of the book, the king was like, oh no, bring Mordecai here. I'm going to honor him. And so because of that, I just think that put a good taste in the king's mouth. Shortly after that, Queen Esther went ahead and told the king what was going on with Haman. He knew that Esther and Mordecai were cousins. And so the king was like, okay, no, we're not doing that. We're not killing all the Jews. I'm not losing my wife. Mordecai, did a good deed for me. And he's like, that's basically not going to flow. So after that, y'all, everything flipped the scripts. So the king ended up giving Mordecai a ring, basically saying, like, you're a man of honor and power. You don't need to necessarily go through the king from this point forward to get approval on things. You can just do it, kind of how Haman did with sending out those letters to everybody about his attempt to kill all the Jews. So at this point, the flip is scripted. Mordecai has the power. Haman, they done killed him. And all of the Jews were feeling like they were just safe. So people in the city who weren't Jews were getting nervous because the Jews begin to have all this power. And then they talked about a lot of the people that were in that city were converting over to be a Jew just so they can have that security. I wrote some notes in here. I just said overall, I felt like Queen Esther was a blessing to the Jews. God is always working in favor and doing His will. Like, I just feel like just continue to do right. Continue to pray and follow God's word and direction, and put your trust and faith in Him, and God will have your back and look out for you no matter what. I just feel like that's what the chapter of Esther was about. It's a quick chapter. It's only 10. Well, it's a quick book, I should say. Queen Esther is a quick book. It's only 10 chapters. Read a chapter a day or every other day if you want to study that particular chapter, 2 days. But I really enjoyed it. It was juicy. Like, this one was a juicy story in the Bible. I was reading Numbers and Romans. Romans was not that juicy of a story. Numbers had a lot of factual content behind it, and it was just kind of like, oh, I cannot understand. But I'm going to go back and reread those. But this Esther was juicy. Like, if y'all looking for a juicy story to read in the Bible, Esther is it. So I just thank y'all for watching my SoulTalk video. I hope y'all enjoy it. If y'all have any comments or any thoughts about the book of Esther, or if I got any information wrong, let me know. Just put it down in the comments and let's have a discussion. I'm here for it. I'm loving this. I'm loving my SoulTalk videos. I'm loving the fact that we are in our Bible and we're here to stay. And as always, y'all, love and prayers.